investment.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So I'll get started. Leanna will make her way in. I know everybody knows who I am, but I'll introduce myself again. My name's Morgan Murphy. I'm a fifth year communications major with a concentration in PR. That's a mouthful. And I wanted to welcome you all to the Be Well workshop. I've been working on this project for the past 6 months, and I'm really happy to have you guys here. And anybody who couldn't make it is going to be watching me here. I wanted to welcome Kate, Danielle, and Noelle. They're going to be our guest speakers today. Some of them I've worked close with in the past, and I wanted to see what I could do with Drexel Charge and make an event like this happen. I thought about this probably over a year ago. I actually started working with Kate as an intern doing events. And going along with that, I was also an event coordinator for Charge, and I was part of the founding class with Jernay here. So she helped me out. I was a little baby junior, and I felt like I didn't fit in on campus. I am still part of a sorority. I was part of that, but I still felt like there wasn't a place that I belonged on campus. And I did some digging. The pandemic had just hit, and everything went online. And I had no idea what to do with myself. My health was declining. As all of you probably know, I have some health problems that I've been dealing with for the past few years. So I wanted to work on my health and wellness and fitness all in one. I did some digging online. I found the Charge organization, and they had spread to, I think, around 100 campuses around the country, and I wanted it to start at Drexel. So that's when I went on to the Drexel graduating class of mine, and I posted on there. I was like, hey, I'm trying to start this organization, and Jernay had reached out to me, and that's when we got things started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good job taking the initiative.
Yes. I just felt like health and wellness was something that I kind of wanted to change throughout college because I hadn't prioritized it in high school and before, and I just wanted that to be something that was important to me and I could spread to other people. So I did that, and then I started working for Kate, and I grew my love for events. And that's why we're all here now, because this is something I had the option to do a lot of different projects for my senior projects, but this is something that I wanted to bring to Drexel and hopefully bring on for more generations to come, and hopefully Charge can take this on in the future. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop rambling, and I'm gonna introduce you guys to Kate, Danielle, and Noelle. Kate, if you just want to start, introduce yourself, and then we can go down the line, and then I'll get my questions started.
Sure, I'm Kate Marlies. I'm the owner and founder of Philly PR Girl. We are a PR firm here in Center City, Philadelphia. Coming up this December on our 10-year anniversary. Yay! Talk about love of events. Any excuse to throw a party, I'm in. So I'm throwing a big party. But we do, obviously, PR. We do a lot of major events with different organizations and nonprofits and professional teams like the Union, Go Union. And we also do social media and digital marketing. So a little bit of everything. And one of our fabulous clients is Danielle.
That's me. Hi guys, I'm Danielle Massey. I'm a bit of a jack of all trades, so bear with me for this. I'm a best-selling author. I have 2 books out. One of them is called Shadow Work. Thank you. I'm the CEO of a virtual healing center called the Wellness Collective. We used to be based here in the city, but with the pandemic, we transferred to being all online. And we have things like psychotherapy, Reiki, yoga, coaching, shadow work, everything you can imagine health and wellness based is a part of that. I host the Selfish Philly conference that happens here in the city every single year. It's a self-care conference. This year we're changing up our location to a really big spot in the center city. So September 10th, you can mark your calendars now for next year.
It's really cool.
It's really cool. Not to toot my own horn, but it's really cool.
I'm her publicist, so I will toot her.
I'm an international speaker and wellness coach. I teach about shadow work. I'm the leading expert on shadow work in the country. And so I speak about shadow work all over, including internationally and in some major magazines, courtesy of Kate. And that's me.
Hi, my name is Noelle Davis. I'm the owner and founder of Paris Fit LLC, Kim in the Box LLC, and the owner of Paris Studios in Old City. I've been in business for 5 years, this prior September. I started off as an archaeologist turned personal trainer. That's the story that you see on the news and also in the magazines that I'm featured in. I'm featured in a few international magazines as well as local and national magazines. I have had the opportunity to work with Drexel University. I'm also doing Temple Charge as well. So Charge has had a great experience with me both at campus and in the studio. I'm also an influencer for Under Armour, Alibaba, Fox Water, and also partner of Foot Locker, and also Saks Fifth. I also work with large companies such as ShopRite. My products are in ShopRite to the present day. We are in 8 locations, including ShopRite and Fresh Grocer throughout Philadelphia. And I'm just learning as I go. I'm still young, I just turned 30, and I want to see where life takes me by my 10th year.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I guess my next follow-up question for you guys is, how did you start how did you go about starting your own businesses since you've all done that? And can you explain to everyone just like the process that you went through, trials and errors and everything in between?
Well, I'll keep it short because I could tell you everything, and trust me, you don't want to know everything. But I was an executive director working in nonprofit associations. I was traveling a lot, planning conferences, and I got burnout. I had a major panic attack. I didn't realize what it was at the time. I was alone in a hotel room in Florida telling 9 EMTs that were in my hotel room, I'm fine, and then clearly I wasn't. So I came back from that conference and I really was like, all right, what am I doing? Is this what I want to do? And even though I really liked my job, I wasn't necessarily passionate about it. So I started a blog and I called it Philly PR Girl. Best decision I've ever made. I did not go to school for PR. I'm completely self-taught. The blog branded me to the point where I had people calling me asking if I wanted to do their PR, and I was kind of like, I can just like figure that out. So I did, and here I am 10 years later. My very first event that I ever ran the red carpet and was the publicist for was literally what made me get my LLC. So I had the blog. I just thought it was going to be like a fun thing. I didn't think it was going to be a company. So someone wanted to hire me to do PR for the very first New Year's Eve, probably first and last, New Year's Eve party at Lincoln Financial Field. My first event. And LaShawn McCoy, who was the Eagles star at that time, was there. Meek Mills on home arrest shows up. I have no idea who he is. I'm like, get off that couch. It was a crazy party, but I thrived and I loved it. And I was like, okay, this is what I want to do now. So of course it took a long time. I still had my job. I had a part-time job. And then I was doing Philly PR Girl. My trick was I would bring my computer home from work and leave my charger at work. So when my computer died, around midnight, 1 a.m., that's like when I would have to go to bed, because otherwise I probably would have stayed up all the time working. Yeah. I don't do that anymore. Now I'm like, is it 10 o'clock? I'm going to bed. But yeah, no, so it was a long time, coming. I feel like whether I wanted to start my own company or not, it was going to happen. Never thought it was going to happen. It wasn't my master plan. I wish it was. But I'm really glad it did.
I think sometimes those things just unfold that way because it's never really what you go out seeking to do.
Yeah.
And when I started my company, I was 22 and I became a therapist at the time, and like any naive college kid, I was like, I can do this. Like, it's no big deal.
Yeah, like no problem.
It's no big deal. And it was really not doing well. And it stayed not doing well for about 6 years, and I was doing all the right things. We were talking about this right before. I was like taking a lot of people out for coffee and asking them, what did you do? How did you go about it? And just using those people to figure out the different pieces of the puzzle. Probably took me about 5 years to get like a really clear picture of how to run a business, and my business was still not doing great. And then what I started doing was I got burnt out, just like Kate said before, and I got sick. I ended up developing cancer. And that changed everything for me, because in that moment I was like, do I even fucking like being a therapist? No, like this is not what I want to do. I just feel like I'm supposed to. I switched my career path and I own that wellness center. I hired on a bunch of different people to be the therapists and they love it. So it started doing well. And it's amazing how that happens. And then it opened me up to do all the things I actually really like doing, and from there I could grow. The question that you asked was kind of about like, tell us what you should do, what you shouldn't do, so we have that cautionary stuff. What you should do is there's so much information out there. There's so many people willing to give free information. So kind of like I did, but like on a global level, you can go on YouTube, you can watch Gary Vee's stuff, you can check out all the business coaches, get as much free information as you can if this is something that you're interested in. And find what you love, because then it's not a job. Then it's just fun. Then you have to leave your charger.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly,
yourself.
exactly.
Or you'll be like me and running back down the old city from Northeast, getting in charge. Oh yeah, but no, that's exactly how it is. But as I said earlier, I am an archaeologist turned personal trainer. I went to school at Rutgers University. Wanted to be an archaeologist since I was 12. And I went to Rutgers University, studied archaeology, went to Manchester University in England, studied archaeology, then got my first dig in Italy while in school. And when I graduated college, I got my first federal project on I-95 2 months after graduating, unheard of, after hearing 1,000 people tell me, you'll never be an archaeologist, you're black, you're a woman, you're small, it won't happen. My dad telling me go into business because there's no money in there, and I got my first project. And I was the happiest person, because this is what I dreamt about when I fell asleep in school and woke up reading what an archaeologist was. True story. So as I am working this dream job and I'm on a high, I'm at a stoplight heading into work and somebody rear-ends me at the stoplight. And it gave me lower lumbar bulges and also gave me nerve damage down my legs. And at the time I was digging like down for 9 feet. And lifting these buckets, 50 pounds of dirt, walking up a hill, and I couldn't do it anymore. And at that moment, it was like my life shattered. I'm going to the doctor, I'm like, what can I do to get back to archaeology? I need to get back. And they're like, get your shots. You gotta get surgery. I was only 22 at the time. I'm like, everybody's telling me you get surgery, your life will never be the same. And after annoying my doctor probably like the 1,000th time, I asked him, what can I do? And he said, go in the gym and work on your core. And I'm like, I'm small. I never went to the gym. What do I need to go in the gym for? He's like, it will build your back strength. And at that moment, I'm young. I didn't have a personal trainer. What I had was YouTube and Instagram. I used to go on Instagram. I used to love watching China's workouts. Amazing. And then on YouTube, I would watch jailhouse workouts. Amazing. Being in the gym, I ended up meeting a girl, because at the time I had 4 jobs. I was working at the archaeology, I was working at Pandora, working at New Jersey Turnpike, and being a geologist, because that's my second, my minor. Being a geologist over at the YMCA, doing a little program that I was running called Web. And I met this girl, I was like, I want to look like you. She's like, I want to look like you. My accountability partner. We went in the gym every single day. And when I finally rehabilitated myself to 90%, a lady came up on a Saturday, I'll never forget. She said, I watched you not be able to do anything. You're doing pull-ups, sit-ups, crunches, all these different tricks. I want to get you certified. I'll pay for it. And at that moment, I'm like, I'll do it, but I'm going back to archaeology. Like, forget what she said. Like, this is my dream. And she got me certified. I wish I knew who this lady was. Every time I go on the news, I always tell her, if you see me, please find me. I cannot find her, but she got me certified. And at that time, I was in Jersey. I moved to Philadelphia. I came over to Philadelphia. I was still interested in going back to do archaeology. I was working in a lab, and I met a girl at the gym. She said, girl, make some business cards and put them in the Planet Fitness. I was like, you're gonna kick me out. I just do it. Here I am today. I own my first fitness studio. On my own, like we were talking earlier, I don't have a business loan. I don't have an investor or a partner giving me the extra money and the extra help, or somebody sitting down saying, this is what you're supposed to do. I feel like God has just placed people in my lives that have been able to show me the route. My father has a very successful business, and now he's helping me with business ideas. But I never had that mentor before. So like you were saying, YouTube University is the way to go. And Instagram, when you talk it enough and you say it enough, Instagram will know what you're trying to do, and they'll start showing you the master classes and the people for you to listen to.
That's right.
You go listen to those free master classes, and you'll figure it out. I never thought in a million years that I would be here. But at the same time, too, I feel like college prepares you for a clear mindset. You're more goal-oriented when you are in school, and I applaud you all for being in college. Because when I say I'm gonna do something, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna follow through. It's kind of like knowing like your maker at the age of what, 18 you come to college? You know what you wanna do, you're gonna follow through to get it. Whatever it is that you wanna do in life, keep that same mindset. School prepares you for that. And I feel like because I had that background, it's like, all right, I'm gonna get in the stores, I did it. I'm gonna get the only reason why I opened up a fitness studio, because Planet Fitness started writing down, she's a trainer, don't let her train in here. And that's why I was like, you know what, I'm tired of people having problems with me training places, I'm gonna open up my own place.
So you did get caught.
and then as like I'm doing it now, and I may have somebody that lives in Northeast and they wanna work at a Planet Fitness, I'll be smart, and I'll record where it says no personal training, and I say, oh, I thought a purple gym said something. So I would definitely say, like, even if you don't have the $10,000 or the $20,000 right away to go ahead and have somebody help you along the way, there is a world of like libraries all over the world that you can learn from. And like we were talking about earlier, ask enough questions until you get the answer you're looking for.
That's right.
And always have that notepad ready. I'm still young, still learning. I just turned 30. My brother said you're barely 30. You've been 30 for 2 months. But I just turned 30, and I feel like, okay, I did 5 years, I'm ready for 10. After 10 years, I'm ready for 15. So put your mind to it, and just remember the grind that you put while you were in school to get where you are now.
Awesome. Kind of going off of what you were talking about in college and everything, I wanted to ask you guys, since you're so successful now, looking back, what advice would you give yourself as like little baby freshman going into college? What advice would you give yourself?
Well, what I would give myself, but also college students today, is the same, which is get as involved as possible. So like when people come to me and say like, you know, what do you look for in a resume, or what, you know, all those questions, I look for someone that's out there. I don't need you to have a million jobs, but like that you try to get the experience, and networking and so important in PR. So I look for people that have multiple PR internships when I'm hiring. I look for people that have volunteered, whether it's done something like this or a charity walk, you know, or went to somewhere and helped them with their social media because they knew how to do that. But someone that's really involved in whatever industry you're in. I was always that person that had a million jobs and but like I somehow made time to be in the club in school, you know, like, so I didn't get a chance to intern that much. I only got to intern in the summer when I went home, because during the school year I was working and I was involved in all the clubs and things like that. But I took advantage of that internship. My internship was, my big one was at the music venue over in Camden. And to this day, the people that I've met at that internship are still in my life, and I work with them all the time. People ask me all the time, how do I know so many people from Live Nation? I've known them for 20 years from my internship. I was literally in my boss's wedding, you know, like, so they became friends, but also contacts. When I was doing my nonprofit work, I worked at a radio station. It wasn't necessarily for the money. It was for the free Eagles tickets and concert tickets. That's what I thought it was for. But again, to this day, all those people at those radio stations I work with still. I talk to in different capacities, different ways. So networking, volunteering, internships will take you guys far, and I know that's what helped me for sure.
Absolutely. It doesn't even have to be something that you think it's going to be, like not knowing how the Live Nation stuff is going to turn out then.
Yeah.
You could volunteer for like Drexel's radio station, and then it turns out that one of the people who was on the radio station with you ends up moving to LA, blows up in some way, and now you know her. And then
Yeah.
knowing her is gonna be a contact for you for whatever it is that you're doing. So just talk to everybody and make that long-standing impression. The advice that I would give, and this is what I used to tell all my old college students when I was an adjunct at PSU, is when you're choosing what it is that you're gonna do with your life, don't think about the major. Because the major isn't actually what you're gonna be doing. Like if you're majoring in psychology, what you do as a career is not necessarily what you think it's gonna be. So think about what you actually wanna do down the line. What do you want your life to look like? Like if you're going into PR, you're gonna be working like crazy. I started my career in advertising. If you're going into advertising, you're not gonna sleep. Like you're just, and your career ends at 30 because then you're geriatric. So you have to think about what it's gonna look like down the line. What do you want your life to look like when you're 30 years old? And if you can envision that and think, okay, I wanna be working a job that gives me X, Y, and Z, it's gonna change the major that you have in school. And that's the advice I wish people gave me, because psychology gets you nowhere. And that was what I switched to. I started in advertising and design, graphic design, switched to psychology and cognitive neuroscience because I really like figuring out what makes people tick. But I never actually thought what that would look like when I graduated. So I graduated and my options were either go on to become a doctor, so like get my doctorate, become a psychiatrist, or become a psychotherapist. And I'd never really considered that. And that was limited because my life is only gonna look one of a couple of ways, or teach, but again, there's no money in teaching. So then it limits what my life would look like. I'm like handcuffed in a lot of different ways. So consider that as you guys are still at that age where you can choose a little bit. Hopefully none of you are graduating like now, where that ship has sailed. But even if that does become the case, it's not the end of the road, you know?
I'm a graduating neuroscience major, so.
I'm so sorry. You know what, you come talk to me afterwards, because that I use my cognitive neuroscience now. Shadow work is a Jungian technique that involves the brain. And so now it's helped me land a job where like I'm a best-selling author, and they picked me to write the book. I didn't actually apply to be a writer. I didn't have to go through that whole process. They came to me because they saw an article of mine that was in New York Magazine that Kate secured for me, thank you, where I talked about the brain and the neuroscience behind it, and that actually got me that book contract. So it's so
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy how that.
Do you know what shadow work is?
No.
Okay, so you guys
We'll
should definitely
talk.
talk. You guys should definitely talk.
It's neurological in its core, so not a lot of people can talk the talk when it comes to that.
Okay,
So
yeah.
find me afterwards.
I would say, first, networking.
Yeah.
Everything. I used to think I was just meeting friends. I was always a social butterfly. But like, networking changes your life. But I would say, learn everything, right? When you get a school project, and there's 4 of you guys, and each of you have your own separate thing, learn what all the other 3 people have to do too, so you know everything. The reason why I say that, I know how to do my marketing. I know how to do my graphic design if my graphic designer isn't able to do any flyers for me. I know how to edit my website if my website developer is not available. I know how to make content. I know how to write grants. I know how to go in and fix my app. Learn everything, because when you have a company and it's your baby, you want everything to be perfect. So if the hairstylist doesn't come for your model, know how to do a little hair flip too, because you may have to get in there and get it done. Somebody that I really admire, that I kind of like learned back before now, is Milano. Milano used to put her name on everything. You see a Key State rapper, it said Milano.
She's my client.
Yeah. But you, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
wow.
worked with her a couple times, yeah.
Kate's worked with everybody.
Yeah.
Not
But
saying-
she
You
had,
say Kate Marley's on the street, and people are gonna come flooding. Oh my God, I know her.
but seriously,
But
when
she's a marketing genius.
Yeah.
I'm not taking credit for anything she's done. If you don't know who she's talking about, it's Milana De Rouge. She's a fashion designer. Definitely follow her.
Yes.
She also kind of does those master class type of
she
talks.
does masterclass talks, yeah.
And I learned from her. You know, everyone
I just
learns
went
from
to
her,
a
yeah.
black wealth conference with JP Morgan, and she said it. She was like, my makeup artist doesn't come. I know how to do a little eyeshadow. Okay? So seriously, learn everything, because you may have to be that person. You can't sit around. If the graphic designer tells you their turnaround is in 2 weeks, but you know you have to get this out, learn the job. That's why I say start now. While you're in school and you have a project and there's 4 of you guys, talk to everybody in the group. Not saying be the overpower and try to be the leader of the group, but just take the, get in it and be like, hey, what are you working on? Learn everything. Knowledge is power, and when you hold that, nobody can take it from you. Nobody can take it from you. So that's what I would definitely tell myself.
I love it. I have so many, like, I'm just like what you're saying, I'm like, I know that, I know that.
You
do
do
it
it.
the same way.
You have to.
Yeah.
As a business owner,
You have
you
to.
do everything. I do payroll, I
Yeah.
do my budget,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be
I
better.
keep talking to her about letting some of that
Yeah,
stuff
I'm
go.
letting it go.
I have a
Letting it
rule,
go.
know how to do it, but if there's somebody who can do it better than you, hire them.
Yes.
But if for some reason something can't come through, you know it,
You
and
know.
you're there in the
Yeah.
touch.
It's like, for example, my app, right? I have nutrition on there. And like, I know nutrition. I have my cert and I can do it. I was putting on the recipes, but I was also doing my recordings. I was also adding everything in there, doing my plans. I called my virtual nutritionist that I had back in the pandemic in 2020. I said, and this is why relationships are great. I said, hey, I got a job for you. I want you to come back on. I'm starting my online fitness coaching. I'm gonna teach you how to go ahead and do this app. So you can start doing the nutrition plans in there. You can do cooking classes in there. But if worst comes to worst, say for whatever reason, God forbid she gets sick, if she has this content and she sends it over to me, I know how to do it. I can get it done, or I can teach somebody else to do it. So when you kind of are the master, you gotta be Mr. Miyagi of your business sometimes. When you're Mr. Miyagi of your business, nobody can take it from you. Nobody can discredit a person that knows everything, but like we're saying, give that off. If you have the opportunity when you get older and you have the funds and everything is secure and you can pay for somebody to do it, allow that. But always double check work too. I'm a firm person of that. Always double check, because nobody will ever treat your business how you treat your business.
That's true.
But it's good to find people that do love your business,
Yeah.
because they can take you a very far way.
And in the beginning, you're not gonna be able to afford that. It takes time to get to that
Oh,
point.
yeah.
So by the nature of owning a business, you're gonna learn all those things. You figure out how to be a graphic designer, and that's where YouTube University comes in. You figure out how to do all that stuff, and then when you secure your spot and you have money coming through,
Yeah.
you unload what you can so you can focus on what you love.
Exactly.
Are you guys, or who's seniors here? Seniors? Okay, juniors? Okay, and you guys are?
Sophomore?
Sophomore.
5-year, 5th year. Yeah, see,
Oh, fifth year, okay.
I had to do that when I was taking the class. I was like, 5th year, okay.
Super senior.
Super
Super
senior.
senior.
Not in the bad way,
So,
no.
No, yeah.
no, it's so common in Drexel. So many
Yeah.
seniors here,
Yeah.
more than any other school I've ever interacted with.
Yeah. You guys taught me what a super senior was.
I do say, if it's anything related to your industry that you're going in, if you have the chance to take graphic design,
Do it.
definitely take it. Because it comes into play in every industry and everything that you do.
It's so true.
And Canva is one hell of a.
Oh, I love Canva.
That's where all these are coming from.
But at
All
the
my
same
little
time
things.
too,
Yeah.
if you can learn Photoshop, my graphic designer knows the owner's wife of Live Nation.
I'm sure.
You know, I forget her name.
There's a couple.
When you have a business,
But
it's who everybody knows
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, so my graphic designer does Photoshop. She's my best friend. But I watch her do it. She's been doing it for 11 years. So I know, even though I may not have the Photoshop, I understand what she looks for when she's putting together my stuff. I
Yeah.
know what type of fonts look good together. I know like where placement is. And sometimes what I will do, if she's not here, I will send her what I made, and then she'll give me feedback and go, move this or make this a little bit
Yeah,
sharper.
we do that.
So if you can hire, when you do get the opportunity, you can hire that graphic designer, sit down with her.
Did you have a question?
I was gonna say, what if you're literally not artistic? Like, it's just not.
I'm not artistic at all.
Canva.
But that's what Canva's for.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
Can poster my
Yeah.
wall.
Here, so I'll give you a breakdown on this. You have Canva templates,
Yeah.
and then whatever your business is, you have a color palette that you stick to.
Okay.
And so you literally use the dropper icon to pull those colors and add them to the templates that are already
Okay.
there, and change your fonts so that they're consistent, never more than 3, because then it looks too crowded and too busy. And that's something that I learned when I was doing graphic design. never more than 3 fonts, make them consistent all the time, and you have your color palette that you go back to, you don't have to do shit anymore. It's so easy.
See how you're teaching me?
I don't even know
never more than 3.
Never more than 3 because it's too busy for the eye. It's very hard for the eye to pay attention when there's more.
She was the first person who started the Charge Instagram, and she was like, I need help. So then we passed it along. I'll show you guys later, but we had another person who like took over the Instagram, and she made it like amazing.
Okay. Not that it wasn't amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can admit, but I like the color theme, but I can admit, it wasn't, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Now that we're talking about being like the jack of all trades, I kind of wanted to incorporate the wellness aspect of this conversation. How do you guys keep sane and keep healthy and just level-headed when you're doing all of these things? Because that's something I'm personally struggling with now.
Skip me!
I almost checked myself to admit I'm playing.
Don't start, no, I'm just kidding, no. Listen, I am not the best at it, but I will tell you, like, today I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna go to the dog park. And that's my happy place. So I went out to the woods and I walked around with my dog, and she had the time of my life, and I like noticed that I had a big smile on my face. That was my time to like clear my head, right? The other thing that I do is I make time for, I know this sounds crazy, make time, but that's how crazy it is sometimes. Make time to see my family. So I go to my nephew's baseball games. I'll go see my brother coach just to be outside and be with my family. You have to make that time. That's how I keep my balance. I also like schedule times with a personal trainer, because if I don't, I'll never show up. But that's just me. I wish, I'm definitely gonna be calling you. But yeah, that's kind of what I do to keep my balance. It's literally schedule my self-care. I do schedule massages quite often and facials and stuff like that, because that also gives me a minute to like breathe and check out a little bit.
This is like my favorite conversation. It's the reason why Selfish Philly exists, that conference that I host. Because the whole idea is that as women, we're taught to put everybody else first and ourselves last. So if you're a business owner, you have to work twice as hard as the men. And if you're a woman of color, 5 times as hard. Which means that you're always coming from a deficit. And so you have to find ways to build this stuff into your schedule and into your life. So first off, know the signs of burnout. Like understand how you feel when you're good and how you feel when you're not. And notice when you start to head into that place where you're not feeling good, because then you need to fill up your tank more. It might just be like drinking more water throughout the day, cutting down caffeine. It could be that simple. Eating more often and having regularly scheduled meals that are like the rainbow. I know it sounds so simple, but when you're going at it, and I used to be like this when I was a student, you're eating ramen and you're not sleeping and you're living off caffeine. So it's important to get that stuff back.
And you're wondering why you're stressed out. You know what I mean?
That's my favorite, right? It starts the day where it's like, okay, like we're all stressed. Let's have 5 cups of coffee throughout the day. Then we're gonna drink at nighttime because we need some downers to bring us back down, or we're not sleeping.
And then publicists are very highly caffeinated, and I'm okay with that.
But it does a lot of stuff to you internally, and that's important. And the reason why it's so important to me is because I got cancer, and I didn't get cancer from nowhere. The #1 cause of cancer is stress, period, end of story. And it doesn't matter what kind of cancer, it's also autoimmune illnesses too. So it's not just about being healthy for the sake of being healthy. More people under 30 are getting cancer now than ever before. The numbers are insane. So you have to find time. So for me, when I know that my business is doing well is when I don't actually have to show up and it's still running well and I'm still making money. My entire life is about building structures that make my business make money while I'm doing nothing. While I'm at home taking a long ass bath and binge watching Netflix and doing less and less and less while my business does more and more and more. And that does come with time, because in the beginning you're alone. It's all on you. So you have to be really structured and really boundaried about knowing what time your computer gets turned off. You have to know what time emails start, what time phone calls start, and when you're not gonna break those rules. And you'll think that the people that you talk to aren't gonna be respectful of that. And like, I've talked to people before with the conference. I have some like big money sponsors who come through, and they're very important people, and they're like, I can meet Saturday this time, and I say, I spend the weekends with my kids, no. And I say no, and they usually respect the hell out of that. And if they don't, they're probably not my people anyway. But you have to get to the point where you're okay with that, and it does come with time.
You're more than 5 years, right? How many
My
years?
business, I opened my business in 2012.
Okay, yeah, see, I'm the baby at this table, so it's like I aspire to be at that level, but, I will say, right, do you have kids too?
No.
kids?
She has a puppy baby.
I have a dog. It's enough for right now.
Right? So here goes the 30 conversation again. Just turned 30, friends getting married, friends having kids. I feel like in the last couple of months or last few years, my focus was like, I gotta grow this business, but I gotta get a family. So it's like,
Yeah.
guys, we're figuring it out, trying to get that. But then also, knowing that you have family and friends is like, worry about that later, you can have kids 10 years from now. I want you to do this, that. Everybody around me, which is great, wants me to do 90 things to be the best person that I can. They are like, go in for clothes, do that, because they know that I can do good, and it's always pressure to keep going, and my mind is always running. Like I was telling these ladies, I had a very big opportunity to meet Dave and John from Shark Tank. That week was the week that I taught you ladies. I had a workout with Warner Brothers for the Black Adam movie at the Lincoln Financial Stadium. I had something with Comcast because I have a commercial coming out with them. I had also something with Under Armour because I'm a part of their recovery team. I had so much going on that week. It was like go, and I don't drink coffee or Red Bull or any of that. It was like go, and my mind is all over the place, and I'm like, I'm meeting him on Sunday, I'm meeting him on Sunday. My schedule was so over the place, and I don't know how I did it, because I went back and I'm like, these things said Saturday. Everything and they kept writing me, see you on Saturday. And my mind is like Sunday. I even told my assistant, it's Sunday. Like, that's how stern I was. And the moment that I mixed up that date, I had a breakdown. I felt like nothing else mattered. I was like, I lost an opportunity and I had such a bad breakdown that I kind of shut myself away. And sometimes it's like you need to not burn yourself out, right? Because all of those big names sounds great. It sounds wonderful. But you also have to make time for yourself, because if I would have really sat down and had a clearer mind and like, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it, this is how I'm gonna execute it. Maybe I can't do Comcast this week, I can move it over to next week. My mind would have been focused in order to prioritize these things. I feel like being in an early stage of my career, still 5 years is still early. I hop on everything. Sometimes you gotta make time.
But we all did that.
We all did that. Because you don't wanna miss out on an opportunity, so you run yourself dry. But you have to, and it's sad, because once you get to that moment where you miss something, or you feel like you're breaking down, everything around you is dark. And what I do to bring myself back, hey Alexa, I love you. Hey Alexa, play guided meditation. I will get in that bath, I'll start to read a book. Right now I'm reading A Perfect Day to Boss Up by Rick Ross. So if you look on my Insta story, every time that you see me taking my little bubble bath, I took one last night, you'll see me playing the Magnificent song. That's how you know I'm in a clear space. I'll do my face mask, I'll, call my mom, call my dad, just have regular conversation, call my friends, hey, let's go out this week or something. You have to make time for yourself, for self-care, whether it's taking a bubble bath twice a week, whether it's listening to the guided meditation while you shower, right? I don't have time to really sit down and do a full 30-minute guided meditation, but I can play her while I'm in the shower and really clear my mind, not on the phone, not doing nothing. So I feel like taking time to yourself, prioritizing things, and making sure that you're not running yourself dry to reach each and every opportunity. Because if those people truly want you, they will work with your schedule and they'll understand your time.
Right.
Like you say on Sunday, even that same week, it was just like, the moment that I was supposed to be meeting Dave and John, I was meeting Under Armour. Was it a bad thing? No, because I also got an opportunity with Under Armour, but I also was able to talk to my father to grow my business in a way that may be a better presentation the next time that I meet Dave and John. So it's always make sure that you're putting yourself here. same way that you may put your business here, put yourself at the same level and understand if you're not okay and you don't have people in place at a smaller level that can run your business when you're not there, what good is the business? You have to be okay first. You have to prioritize yourself. Get your rest, get your sleep. Sometimes you can't go out with that girlfriend. And it's not that you can't go have fun. You may need to prioritize that time to get some rest because your body needs it. When you are grinding, sleep don't matter. And it's not that sleep doesn't matter. Subconsciously, you're trying to get to that goal. You're like, go, 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 go. Once you burn out, what good is it? You can make yourself so sick. I've done that to myself. I had a cancer scare. And then my blood count, my white blood count cells were low. Through the entire holiday, I stayed in bed thinking I had cancer. They're like, we're gonna meet you at Cooper Cancer, because I was running myself dry, not getting the proper rest, not eating as I should. I do that. I would work all day, be so into my craft that I forget to eat. And sometimes you just need to have a me schedule and a work schedule. So make sure that you're always prioritizing that, a me schedule and a school schedule. The me schedule is it's as important as the next goal.
Amazing. I had some other questions for you guys, but I don't want to take too much of your time. I love hearing what you guys have to say, stuff I've never heard before as well about all of you. So I'm happy to hear all of this great information, and I hope everybody can take all of this home with them and internalize it. But I'm gonna open the floor to you guys to ask some questions if you want. I have some gifts for you guys. So the first 3 people to ask questions, because I know sometimes it's hard to get people to ask questions, so I have a little bit of an incentive. So the first 3 people, I will give you a $10 gift card to Parade, and you're gonna get a sweatshirt as well. So Malia, I saw your hand first, so you're gonna get it first. Go ahead.
What helps you guys stay motivated throughout, for now? Because before, you guys were saying you were getting it started, but now that you've getting 5 and 10 years into your business, how you guys stay motivated and not get down on yourself when you miss an opportunity, like you mixing up your schedule and stuff?
Yeah. Seeing a difference in someone's business by what we do, right? That means a lot. So it could be just booking a small piece of press that leads to a bigger piece of press. I'm big on celebrating successes. So every time one of my publicists books press, we cheer, we give each other high five, as corny as it is, let's celebrate and let's acknowledge that it's, not easy to do what we do. So when we do succeed, celebrate. And that keeps me going.
She calls me sometimes when they book something good.
Yeah. Oh no, we deliver good news over the phone.
Yeah. I think for me, it's always the idea of celebrating the journey, not the end goal. So if you're going out to have a successful business, you're always going to be missing what's happening around you. And if you're excited every single day about what you do, it makes every day really fun. And then when you hit those goals that you have, you don't have to stop there. You just have a new goal. So the Wellness Collective was successful, good, I'm going to open a conference. That was successful, good, I'm going to write a book. And you just keep pushing yourself, keep going for the next thing. Because the journey is awesome.
It's the marathon. It's the marathon. I think that's what motivates me. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And if you keep that mindset, it's what next, right? It's you'll do one thing, you're all right, what's next? Next thing, what's next? But what you do have to do is make sure that you celebrate, because sometimes you'll get so caught up in what's next that you don't take that time to really acknowledge hey, I did this. So reflection is always great too.
Yeah.
Going back and being wow. I know you probably see the reel on Instagram where it's they're I wish I had more clients, and then it's the little girl and it's wait, we have clients. So stuff like that will definitely motivate you.
Absolutely.
Jenna, you want to go ahead?
Yes, please. So Noelle kind of touched on it a little bit, but for me, I'm always someone who wants to do everything, and I take on everything. I just want to do everything possible. When do you guys know to step back and say, no, I can't handle this right now, I gotta put me first? Because that's something I've always struggled with, at least.
You're talking to a bunch of control freaks.
Ask for the wrong people.
Pick somebody else.
I think that's why we're business owners, though. And if you have that mentality, that's probably why you're going to be a business owner, too.
And a
because-
successful one.
What's your
Right.
major?
Healthcare, actually, health
Okay.
sciences. Yeah, I want to go into labor and delivery, hopefully.
Nice. That's great.
Make sure it fits within your brand though. Whatever it is, like I feel like with business, you gotta make sure that it fits within your brand and you're not just saying yes to everybody.
Yeah,
Like it has to make sense.
yeah.
I have a little technique, and this is a trick, it's called the human pendulum. And what you do is you drink like a big bottle of water, because your body, the water that's in your body will actually move you in different directions. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna stand up, and you put your feet kind of like hip width apart, hands down at your sides, and once you're hydrated, you ask a couple of yes or no questions. So if you ask something like, is my name Danielle, your body will naturally move. You're not gonna have to move it. Is my name Kristen? Your body will move in a different direction. Once you have enough yes or no questions that you know which way is yes and which way is no, which will be different for everyone, you ask yourself, is this something I'm supposed to do? And you get that yes or no. But use the words, because your body knows the answers. Our bodies hold all of our trauma, and they also hold all the knowledge about what it is.
Like, I can't even get over
Did you
this.
read my book? It's like a book.
I know, but I did not read that part, but.
How much were you drinking?
Like a lot, because your body needs to be very well hydrated for this to work, and you'll
I'm literally
know,
doing this
because
today.
your body will swing very, very far if you're hydrated for yes or no's. And if you're not sure, your body will stay still. I taught this to my kids. My kids are 6 and 8. And so I'll ask them, like, do you feel like going to soccer today? You know, Juliana, and she's like, I'm gonna do the human pendulum, and she figures it out fast. And she's like, my body says I need to rest today, and it works. And then it's just everybody's happier. You're always doing things that feel good.
Her daughter's gonna work for me one day. We're gonna be fighting over her daughter.
My daughter will take over the world. She's insane.
Yeah.
But when you do stuff like that, it takes your head out of the equation, because the brain and the body are connected, but there's a system that connects them, the enteric nervous system. And so sometimes we overdo it with our minds. We put in all the other stuff, like things that have happened to us in the past, which is your shadow, and all those things are conflating what the answer should be. So the human pendulum for everything.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing that. I wanna go
If
this.
you like that, if you like that, buy my book, because I have a lot of those kind of things in there. It's called shadow work.
Wow.
Shameless thing.
You can go ahead.
Very interesting life hack, and I've never heard that before. But my question is sort of, how do you guys prevent yourself from comparing yourself to others, especially when you do take these not really conventional paths? Like, personal to me, like I just graduated, and like everyone is in very different places. Like there used to be, like we went to Penn, not Drexel, but like we used to be concentrated at Penn's campus, and now like all my friends are making insane money in these crazy business jobs. And I want to go to med school, so I'm applying right now, but making shit money at a research job right now, living a very different life. So like, I'm just curious, like, how do you sort of like navigate that? And especially when, like, I know your grind means so much to you, but when you see other people, maybe their life seems easier from the other side. How do you go back and forth?
Were you at the Wharton School, or you guys were just on Penn's campus?
Just Penn, yeah.
When I was a therapist, I used to specialize in Wharton students. It was like a weird, it happened like randomly, where like one of them came and then referred all their friends, and then for years I was seeing a lot of Wharton students, and your school breeds a lot of competitiveness and
Yes.
anxiety.
Yes.
And so I think it's a fear-based thing, right? Because if you're worried about what everybody else is doing, it's because you're afraid. And that fear probably comes from a moment from your childhood where you felt like you weren't good enough. And so you have to come to the place where you start telling yourself that you are worthy, that you're supposed to be where you are, and that you are a unicorn in a lot of ways. And when you pull everybody else out of the equation, nobody's competition. Then they're friends, right? Like I can send a panel of these women and be like, I want to know them more. I want to spend time in their energy. They're not competition to me. They're the people who I want to sit at the table with, and I feel honored to sit at the table with them. And that makes all the difference.
I feel like too, like at your age, like say if you don't know anybody in your field, like, take out your friends. A lot of times your competition are what you see on Instagram, and I'm just here to tell you that Instagram is not real. I just read it in the Rick Ross book. He said they're showing you the end process. They're not showing you what they went through. So for me, I would look, and I caught myself doing it, like when I was 25, 26, I'm like, they have this Lamborghini, and I want this Lamborghini, and this Lamborghini is not theirs. Or they're driving in this Range Rover, and they're renting that Range Rover, it's not theirs. Or they may have it, and they're living at their mom's house. Or you could be like a guy that I literally know, He's great with credit, but recently we stopped talking and he came back and he's like, oh, I have this BMW and I have another BMW, 2022s. So I said, oh, so you bought your house? He said, no. So you're still living at the same place? The man lives in a 1-studio bedroom in West Philadelphia with 2 brand new BMWs. You cannot compare yourself to other people and look at what other people have, because half of the time, excuse my French, you're the shit. And they're probably looking at you and they're faking the process and they're not actually doing what they're saying that they're doing. But you said that you have friends that you personally know are doing this. Want the best for them and ask them for advice. If they're your friends, they will give you the advice or be like, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing. Can we go out for lunch? And learn what it is that they're doing. Because a lot of the times too, when you're trying to be in competition and headbutting with everybody, there's no room for growth. You guys can actually grow together, collaborating, more than you can butting heads. I'm friends with everybody in the fitness in Philadelphia. I'm from Jersey originally. So like, I collaborate with everybody in the city. I have not one enemy in like the city, like honestly, like everybody's like, you're in this fitness? Oh, I wanna do this with you, or let's talk, let's hang out. Oh, come down to a workout that I have. Hey, these are my fitness friends, they're gonna help me out today. Collaboration is everything, but if you try to compare your life to anybody on social media, don't do it. I'll just tell you that right now. 'Cause half of the time, you're doing better than those people.
It's true. The collaboration piece is really key, because it's gonna make you feel, like, I think 2022 more than any other time is really about people lifting each other up, and nothing is ever gonna be a competition. And those students I was talking about before, that I've not been a therapist now for a while, I still keep in touch with people because, you know, I have no boundaries. And they were at different levels where like some of them felt like they were really doing poorly, others felt like they were crushing it, and that changes over time. And the ones who were crushing it now are unhappy for some reason or another. So it's never quite what you feel. Right, go back into what makes you feel good. If you're happy doing research, then you're right where you're supposed to be.
Oh, more questions? Go ahead.
I guess my question is, I was thinking about how to articulate it. When you come down a fork in the road, because right now I feel like I'm at a position where I can see myself doing so many avenues. Like my major is very general and I've dabbled in a lot of things. And it's like, yeah, I can see myself being happy in this field, and this field. Like, and I feel like when you join a field like something, you're gonna reach a fork in the road eventually. So what are things that you can ask yourself and think about to help decide, do I continue with this, do I follow through with this, do I push through with this, or do I find something else?
Human pendulum. Drink some water.
So first of all, why can't you do both? Number one. 2, what are you happy doing what you're doing? And 3, you can always switch. I started Philly PR Girl at 31 years old. I just told you guys all that. That was
Which is still young, by the way.
31, 32, you know, so that was my second or third career, you know, so don't worry about switching it up. You can try something for a couple years, then do something else, you know.
And don't be so hard on yourself with
I know.
wanting like overnight success. So the Rick Ross book said this.
I'm gonna get this.
You need to read my book and tell people the
I
same
know.
way. Like,
Yeah.
read Elle's books.
But he
We
said
gotta
that
start
he
our
read a
book.
book that says you have to put in 10,000 hours in your business, and that's when you'll reach success. So that
Wait,
10,000.
10,000 hours, how many years is that?
I'm not good at math.
He
That's
said
not
he
my
said it. It was like you gotta put it. I think it's like 40. I think it's like 20 hours a week for 10
Okay.
years or something
Oh.
like that, or something like that.
I say, third year in your business, and I probably told you this, is when you start to breathe.
Start to breathe, and then the 5th year is your bamboo year.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean?
So like they say, like the bamboo technique, like you water the plant and it doesn't grow.
Okay.
You plant it, you watch it, you water it, it
Okay.
grows a little bit, you water it, grows just a tiny bit, but the 5th year is when the bamboo tree is fully gonna grow. So like basically what he was like saying too, he says, the overnight successes that we see, somebody going on TikTok, becoming like this famous person, or the person making that one rap song or a hip or a pop song and they go wild, they sometimes crash because they don't really understand the process.
Yeah.
So it's a process. Those, like we were saying earlier, those small achievements, still celebrate them. Those minor achievements, still celebrate them, because you're gonna get the larger one. And you're gonna have trial and error. Life is trial and error. I would rather have trial and error in my beginning years so that by the time I'm a tenure, I'm like, yeah, piece of cake. Got this. I know what to do now. You need to go through that. You need to seriously sit there and say, it's not gonna be perfect, but I'm willing to learn how to make my business right for me. Because it will never always be perfect. But what is right for you? What is making money? What is your blueprint for your business? You have to be able to create that. And you start with the paper and the pen, not with the whole blueprint laid out for you.
I have a good one for this. So there's an old therapy technique called the perfect world, and I talk about this in my book too. What you do is you close your eyes and you start taking some deep breaths and you just kind of clear it all out. And then you ask yourself the question of, if I woke up tomorrow and my world was perfect, what would it look like? And you envision yourself, like, what does my bedding look like? Where is my house? Like, am I looking out onto the beach from like double doors? Is my coffee maker in like a kitchen that looks like this? And you just walk through the day. And as you're doing that and your brain starts creating this and this perfect world is happening for you, you start to think about, where am I going today? Am I going to go sit on the beach and do nothing? Because then the job doesn't really matter, does it? Or are you like going to speak on stage somewhere? So you walk yourself through the entire thing and you visualize what a perfect day would look like if nothing went wrong and everything was exactly how it was supposed to be. And when you figure out what that looks like, which is gonna be easy because you already know what that looks like, it's hard. When you see it, you start to think about which one of those career choices gets me there. Because if you're thinking about having days where you're spending your day on the beach and then you're going to speak, you're probably not going to be getting into PR. That's probably not your avenue, or advertising, which was how I started. So it kind of pulls things off of the table. When you pull stuff off the table, it makes the things that you could do really clear. And then it might be like there's still 2 paths you could take, and that's where the human pendulum is going to come in.
I can't wait to go home. I got some questions to ask my body. I'm just gonna be standing there. I'm like, what are you doing?
I don't know if I'm gonna buy avocados today. I need to ask.
Yeah. We're gonna need to ask
You're in the
pendulum
grocery
some
store,
questions.
Chuck's on what do I buy?
Yes.
What are we eating for
Thursdays.
dinner today? Tacos.
But thank you guys. I don't know if you have any time for more questions. I don't know if you have any.
I just had one.
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with like outside pressure? Cause like I'm applying to medical school right now and everything, and I'm still graduating, but I feel like there is pressure from other people. I'll say my family, I would more so say, cause like I'm like the first to graduate college, doing a degree, doing that and everything, and I'm kind of like not graduate college. My mom is a doctor, she's like that, but like the pressure of like that and like what people expect from you and dealing with that and like not wanting to fall short, because I feel like when you reach that point, kind of like the fork in the road, you're like, okay, this is a timer, people expect things from me. How do you deal with that kind of pressure, basically?
It's your life. You gotta live it. Everybody's always gonna tell you what to do. Me, I listen. I listen to what everybody has to say, and then I'll make a decision. Like, for example, I created Kim in a Box. My dad told me about Kim in a Box 3 years before the pandemic. You should create this subscription box, and this box should have this, that, and the third. We said and Panera Bread. And I'm like, okay. When the time was right, I was like, Dad told me I should make Jim in a Box. And my dad was like, didn't I get, yeah. You did. But I listened, and I did it when the time was right for me, right? My mom was telling me, do clothes right now. You gotta go back to doing clothes. I'm listening, but I know what I wanna do. So it's your life. At the end of the day, when people tell you, especially your family, like your parents, you can't be disrespectful. Tell them, okay, I'm gonna listen to what you're saying. People respect that. I hear what you're saying. And on your time, you do it. But if you let other people psych your mind to feel like you have to do this, and if you don't do it, you're gonna burn yourself. That's another way of burning yourself out, because you're trying to please everybody else around you. They're not doing the work. I just had blew up at my family. Like, everybody wants me to do this, that, and third, and nobody has the funds. I'm the one doing everything and putting the funds out, but you guys all have the opinion. And I had to pull myself back, because it will break you down trying to please everybody else. So first, drink some water, do your human pendulum, and figure out what works for you, because at the end of the day, it's your life, and you can't have people living through you.
And be
Sometimes people do
confident,
that.
be
Yes.
confident with all, and this goes for all of you guys, like, all the decisions and choices you make, like, stand up for yourself, like,
Yes.
and that's okay, you can always go back and change it, but be confident in the decision that you're making. My sister-in-law said to me the other day, she's like, you speak with such confidence sometimes, like, if the zoo is right there, and I say to you guys, the zoo's right here, you're gonna follow me over here. And I don't know why. I don't know why I'm that way, but I can get people to trust me
Yeah.
and talk about people.
My husband said this about Kate after he met her. He was like, I've never met anyone who's so like you on this front until I met Kate. I was like, that's why you guys like each other.
I know.
What's your birthday?
But
Capricorn.
Capricorn.
That's why.
That earthy energy. Yeah. It's true though, confidence does make a difference.
Yeah.
It does,
Confidence.
yeah. And I'm not that way for any other reason that, like, I also believe in myself. And then I also believe what I'm saying. Sometimes I am wrong. That's okay. You know? We can be wrong. Are you a Capricorn too?
No, I'm a Pisces.
Oh, okay.
So
Good
the
choice.
Julius-
I'm an only child, so
She'll
I
say
think that's
anything and
what.
you'll believe it, 'cause
Yeah, yeah.
she's-
Yeah, I'd be like, no, the bathroom's there.
Okay, so here's another perspective on this one, and this comes from my years of therapy. Very often when people are putting their stuff on you, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And so in those moments, what I do is I tell people, I used to tell my clients all the time, hold up the mirror. And when somebody comes to you and they're like, do this, do that, you just kind of hold up that mirror and you go, what's going on? Why is it that you want me to do that? And you'll be shocked by the conversations you have.
I would like that, but I
You'll
will,
be
it's not a
surprised.
little mirror though, I'll like.
You'll be
Yeah,
surprised by it.
ask your mom that, see what happens.
No,
Yeah.
you'll be surprised because
My
people
mom would knock me
probably,
out if I did that.
if you do it in a way that's really curious, and you're just kind of
Yeah.
like, talk to me, because my parents were the same way. I went from cognitive neuroscience and them spending money on my college degree to me going, I'm gonna blow it all up and just kind of like fuck around and find out. And that scared the shit out of them. And when they started getting upset about it, I was like, hey, talk to me, what's going on? And they said, we invested so much in you. You're the one, and my siblings, I love them to death. But like, they don't have the ambition and the drive that I do. And so they put all their eggs in my basket. And that investment, they wanted to pay off in dividends. And so when we were to sit and talk about that, and I was able to go, this is my dream. I still have that ambition and drive. It's just gonna go in a different avenue. And the upside here is much higher than the upside that I had over there. We were able to come to an understanding. But it has to come from a place of kind of going, talk to me, let me understand. And that's not just with parents, because if you have a significant other, they're gonna have thoughts. And you're about to go into med school, you are in for the ride of your life.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends went that route because with cognitive neuroscience, they went off to med school and I didn't. And so they were exhausted all the time. And a lot of them were doing it for them. One of them dropped out before she finished. Another one ended up being so burnt out she didn't match any of the programs that she wanted to go to and ended up switching her specialty to something she didn't want to do. Another one is now the head of general medicine at Pennsylvania Hospital, and he is miserable every day. Every day he is so miserable. And so it has to be because you love it, and it cannot be for them.
And let me follow her point and say, her parents are now very proud of her, because they were at her book
My
launch,
biggest
they were at her conference, and they're probably proud of you because they see how happy you are,
Mhm.
you know,
They
because
don't
you switched it up.
understand it,
Yeah.
but they're very happy.
Yeah. Her
And-
mom's sitting first row in the conference, videotaping her, like,
My dad was up getting acupuncture, like,
Yeah.
And to
like some
piggy-
women's conference.
To piggy off of that too, once you got your mind focused and you like go after what it is, the other day when that happened, I cried and my dad showed me compassion for the first time. He was always so mean to me. I'm like a son. I don't know why he
I'm
treats
the
me
same
like
way.
that. So I cried about in that moment that I missed that event. And he told me, he said, you could do anything that you want to do because you made me a believer. The reason why my father said that, all them years that I told my dad that I was gonna be an archaeologist, he told me to go into business. I'll never be an archaeologist. My dad said, the moment that he saw me in muddy clothes coming from my first federal project, I made him a believer. After that moment, my dad like, my daughter's an archaeologist. She's an archaeologist. So now it's like when something doesn't go right, he goes, I know if you put your mind to it, you'll do it. So whatever it is that you wanna do, even if somebody goes, no, I think you should do it this way, sometimes follow your heart, because once you do it, and like, if you have that conversation, like, this is what I wanna do, and there's a clear understanding, you'll turn them into a believer. But you have to believe in yourself first.
And they're gonna want you to be a surgeon, but you might wanna do peds. you have to stand by your decision.
Yes.
Yeah, confidence.
Thank you.
All right.
Can we, it's a tradition of mine, whenever I speak, I take a selfie.
Yes.
Alright, so let's go,
You'll
we'll
send
go
me
over
this,
here,
right?
yeah.